What's going on, everyone? It's Kevin. Like I said in my last video, I was planning on doing some limited cues and recording them. So I would like to apologize for the subpar mic quality. Just running off my laptop internal mic. So yeah, I apologize for that and my terrible voice, I suppose. So if you can bear with that, we're gonna get on to some bad magic playing. Um, I am not a pro, you can probably tell, but I do my best, and I'm always one to risk it for the biscuit, you know. So I always like to try the janky combos and see what we can do. Sometimes my eyes are a little bit bigger than my stomach on these things, but usually I'm fairly good with the cube. So right now we got a modern cube. We're gonna do the Swiss just because I want to make sure that you guys are gonna watch it, good or bad. That we get 3 matches out of this. So yeah, let's start drafting. Unfortunately, I have not figured out how to actually pause using this system. So this video, future videos, when I wait, we all wait, I suppose. So hopefully it's not too big of a deal, but I'll try and keep it short for you. Alright, let's start drafting here. Alright, first couple of things that stick in my mind. This Ugin here is certainly not the worst card. You got a Zealous Conscripts, Llanowar Elves, and I guess the Garruk's okay. Same with Sphinx's Breath. I think for right now, I think we want to lock in this Ugin. I'm not sure what we're going to come up against, and Ugin can pretty much go into whatever we want. So we don't necessarily have to be a ramp deck for it, so we'll take that. Feel good about it. I always love the art of this card. They did such a good job with Ugin. That one and the promo alt art one. Really nice job. Right, obviously some tough choices coming up. Yeah, Liliana is that's a good one. It's better, obviously better and constructed, but certainly something that can be taken. Got a fertile ground if we're planning on doing any sort of ramping. Sword of War and Peace and Sublime Archangel are also notable. I don't hate Sublime Archangel. I think it's a very, very strong card. It also is susceptible to most destruction spells, lightning bolts. Since we're not necessarily in a ramp deck yet, I think this is the choice. If we were to see something big and this were to come around pick 3, I think that would be the pick. So we're gonna take this Archangel for right now. You don't necessarily have to go super wide to get it to work either, which is nice. Now this is actually a little interesting, because I have a big spot in my heart which Whip of Erebos fills very nicely. When it was in standard, I'd try and play it as much as I possibly could. But we have 2 different plans here. We can take one of these 2, probably the Sakura Tribe Elder over the Emissary, and try and go with ramp, or we can take the Nahiri. I think in limited, Nahiri might just be better, just because there's the filtering effect of it, but also it's a good removal spell. Obviously we don't want to get stuck on on these four drops. So that being said, Odric's not bad, but that's another 4-drop. We can take the Evolving Wilds if we really want fixing. Man. Sweltering Suns is not a bad option, but it's kind of a nombo with our Archangel. Could also just take the Chandra's Phoenix. Man, this is a real toughie. You know what? I think we're just gonna take this Odric and see what comes up. I'm kind of in white, so I don't want to be splashing double red or putting in double red if only a splash. Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. So if we were to go red, it'd be. I just don't want a bunch of double mana stuff floating around in here. Char's not bad. Mizium Mortars is certainly good. So is Banisher Priest. I think pretty obviously Archangel Avacyn's the pick here, since we're looking to be heavier into white. It's also not a bad target to pull out with Nahiri if Nahiri were to get to ultimate. So I think this Archangel Avacyn is just fine. Again, I want to try and make sure we can get a little bit lower on the curve here, though. Entreat the Angels is... Man, it's great if you can rip it off the top, but other than that, it's super difficult, and I don't know how we're going to be on our curve here. So I'm not against Rugged Prairie or even Spear Heliod, but more so Rugged Prairie. Wildfire is also a card to note. It'd be sweet if that were to actually wheel. Then we kind of know we're in the right path here. God, all these high drop cards. I like Archangel Thune, but I don't want to be taking this big stuff all the time. I think we can set a goal after this to try and pick some lower cost stuff. Magma Jet's really good if we can get that on our last pick. That'd be awesome. Or Collective Defiance isn't terrible, but I'll take this this Archangel. Definitely like the fact that we have the Sacred Foundry now. Release the Gremlins is a nice sideboard card. Obviously not something we'd necessarily mainboard. Kolaghan's Command. Anybody who knows me in real life knows that I never play with a limited deck with less than 4 colors in it. So we can always just splash for another color if we need to. But I think this Sacred Foundry is a good solid pick. I'm liking the Castigator a little bit. The mana cost, again, we're pretty heavy into white, so that might be a thing. Lightning Bolt is obviously always a good little side pick there. I think I want to take the Zealous Conscripts, though, and at least put it in the side, just in case we can get a combo with it, or something like that. Boom Bust is interesting. I think I want to take Sword of War and Peace, because that's a solid thing. Actually, I think Whip Flare is a great card for us to take. And I love this Chandra's Phoenix, but I don't know. I guess we can just take the Chandra's Phoenix. That'll be fine. Ooh, wow. I'm pretty sure it's Mizium Mortars here. And then We'll throw this guy on the sideboard. He's a big scary guy. Oh, and there's that Collective Defiance again. All right, we're starting to get some good signals here that we're in the right colors. Again, if there's a Kiki-Jiki that comes up or something like that, Zealous Conscripts is a nice card. Usually people don't pick a combo piece like that up really early and bank on getting it. It's usually like an afterthought in the cubes. So you know, it's not a bad sideboard card. And if your opponent's playing big stuff, and certainly don't hate grabbing it. This pack has a lot of things we want. We got this Borderland Marauder, which, like I said, we wanted early drop cards. That guy's a fine guy. Solemn Simulacrum is okay. The Sun Titan is a great pick. So is Elspeth. And it's a love-hate thing. I don't want 2 6-drops, but I'd love having either of these in the deck. I'm pretty sure Elspeth is just the pick. Being that, you know, if it came down to either of these two pitting them against each other, Elspeth would win, and it's just so difficult to deal with in the late game. So I think we just take the Elspeth and feel real good about ourselves. Quarantine Field is good. This little Adorned Pouncer is a nice little card, especially with the Sword of War and Peace. We also have this Banishing Light to take note of, but there's like a ton of Banishing Light effects in the cube. Obviously, we got this Quarantine Field here too. It's, you know, basically the same thing. Costs one more, but it's basically the same thing. There's a bunch of creatures like Fiend Hunter and Banisher Priest that have the same thing, but I think the Banisher Priest already got passed. But you know, I don't feel hurt taking this Adorned Pouncer. In fact, I kind of like it. It's a nice little gotcha card with the Eternalized. Very difficult to deal with. Sword of War and Peace makes it really good. So that's nice. A lot of good cards in this one too. Obviously, Selfless Spirit is a great pick for us. Flicker Wisp does some decent things. I don't necessarily think it's better. Stormblood Berserker is really good, and obviously Stoke the Flames has always been good in limited and in constructed when it was constructed. But I think for right now, Selfless Spirit is probably the pick. It's a nice little target for the War piece. Does things that we want. Okay, so we got Mikaeus, who's kind of meh. I think Hellrider's really nice. We haven't really figured out if we're going wide yet, or how wide we're gonna go. We don't, man, we don't really want a whole lot of 4-drops, but this card is so punishing. Mikaeus is really good, and so is the Lightning Mauler. I think we're just going to take Hellrider, though, for right now. And say Bubkiss to our mana base. I think we already kind of screwed that up. Wow. Jeez, nobody wants these red-white cards, apparently. Solemn Recruit, kind of cool. Wouldn't mind that. Blade Splicer's great, obviously. Battlefield Forge is some more fixing. Searing Blaze, not too much a fan of Student of Warfare. I think he's too much of an investment for little return in cube. Chandra Nalaar isn't bad. I got a love-hate relationship with her as well, but I think right now, I think it's Blade Splicer. Simply because it helps us go wide if we need to go wide. So there's that. Dagron is always good. I like Thundermaw, and I'm wondering if that might end up being too many cards in the 5-drop spot. Being that we still have one more pack left, there's an Everflowing Chalice that's probably going to get taken pretty soon, and Siege Gang Commander is good. Wouldn't hate pulling this into the sideboard at some point, but I think the pick is Thundermaw Hellkite. So we got Flame Slash, we got this Carry Zev, which is probably the pick because we need some more lower drop creatures. Flame Slash is really good. And there's always the Disenchant for the sideboard if need be, but I think Carry Zev's a fine choice here. Nice Abrade. Got Abrade. Ire Shaman is... it's underwhelming, I think. An Imposing Sovereign can be very difficult to deal with. So, I think the pick is going to be Abrade, but Imposing Sovereign is very nice. I think it's going to be Abrade, though. Alright, Borderland Marauder came around. I think that's a strong later pick. We got this Fork Bolt, Quarantine Field, or Chandra. This is one of the better Chandra cards. I think we're gonna have to take Quarantine Field though, just because I want to make sure that we have some actual. This might even go on the sideboard. Some non-creature removal. I think Stormblood Berserker's a great choice. Same with probably the Lightning Mauler. It seems like we're getting rather aggressive here. Of course, Mikaeus is great anywhere on the card, but I think we're taking that one. And then this is just awesome. We probably want the Battlefield Forge though, just to make sure we have the fixing. We have a lot of double color cards, and there's the Wear Tear for the side. And Wake Thrasher, something we don't necessarily want to see out. So feeling pretty good about this. It seems like once we get going, it's going to be very difficult to stop what we have. I think our weakest cards right now are probably this Collective Defiance and maybe this Odric. 5-drops, they're all so good. I think the worst of the 5-drops is the Hellkite. You know, that's saying something, because Thundermaw Hellkite is just miserable to have to deal with. Whip Flare might be a sideboard card. Okay, so here, Dictate of Heliod's really just too expensive, I think. Figure of Destiny is kind of a trap card. It's like Student of Warfare, just like you put so many resources into it and you don't get very much out of it if your opponent just has a combat trick or some way of killing it. I think Young Pyromancer is the choice here. Arc Trail would be probably my secondary pick. Young Pyromancer also just gets way out of hand, especially with any burn spells that might happen, or you know, if we have you know, just any sort of removal or anything, it helps us go wide. So I don't quite know where we're at with that yet, as far as, like, we have one, that would be something that would not be in with it, but 2, 3 so far. So not a whole lot, but again, we still have this last pack to figure out. Through the Breach is something I like. Angel of Sanctions and Chandra. This Elspeth's gonna be nice. So the next time we pick out of this pack is gonna be really, really nice. I don't think it's through the breach. I'd hate for somebody else to already have like an Emrakul and grab that. But I don't think it's through the breach. I don't think it's Angel of Sanctions. Again, kind of a similar reason with, like, there's a lot of that effect going around already. I'm leaning towards Chandra. Elspeth Knight Errant isn't bad, but I think just Chandra is what's going to end up winning. Oh, dear lord. That is a lot of red and white cards for us. So we got Chain of the Rocks, which is great. Kargan Dragonlord, again, same exact reason with Student Warfare and Kithkin guy. Flame Speaker is interesting, and Alesha is kind of cool with things like Young Pyromancer, Blade Splicer, Kirizev. Alesha's a nice card. This card is a little bit, I guess, probably more durable. But like if we were to pick things like Faithless Looting, Alesha would probably be better. But actually, I think we're gonna take the Alesha. It's a little bit easier on our mana base. Destructive Force is kind of cool. I don't quite remember what this one does. Alright, I'm not necessarily interested in that. Soldier of the Pantheon is nice. Chandra just takes a while to get going, and I don't really care for the Planeswalker aspect of her. Man. I think we can just take Soldier of the Pantheon here. I'm going to take Whip Threat. I don't think it works too well with our deck. Probably, I think Temple Wheel, so I think we just take this Burst Light. Yep, there it is. There's that Kiki-Jiki we were talking about. Also, very interested in this Mana Tithe, but we're going to take this Kiki-Jiki. It's something we can side in if we want to. Geez. So, Koth and Sarkhan. I think of the two, we probably want Sarkhan. Man, all four of these cards are just great. So, I think we take Sarkhan here. Let's see here. Not thrilled about this Odric. It gives all of our guys flying. It could just sit there and do nothing. Bedlam Reveler is kind of cool. Not enough instants or sorceries, I think, to really do much exploiting of it. Chandra's also a good card. Man. I think we were in the right colors. There's just so many pickable cards here. I think we're going to take Flame Color. And Arc Trail is going to be our pick there. It's a pretty easy pick, I think. So we're going to have to go down quite a few cards here. Nahiri might be something we can take out. I don't think anybody has anything that you need Through the Breach for. Obviously, if we're casting Through the Breach, we might as well just be casting one of our things. We'll just take the Angel, and yeah, so tough choices here. It's probably, there's enough land destruction effects going around right now. It's probably just going to be the Flame Speaker. Let's see, there's one right now. I think we'll just take that in case we need like more sweepers and stuff. We got enough planeswalkers to where we can build a planeswalker base and then like blow the board if we have to, and then just win off of our planeswalkers. That's certainly a viable option. I think I want to take this sensor probably, and then Icefall Regent, and the cough came back. Alright, so we have a couple different things that we can do with this. I don't think that Alesha is really anything more than a 3/2 first strike. So if we, I want to see here, because I think we can set aside, I want to set aside these more aggressive cards, and we'll leave the Selfless Spirit in, and I'm kind of, computer's freezing up a little bit, there we go. Kind of want to see where we're at as far as more of a control type matchup would be. We can always like side into an aggressive matchup like game 2 or something. That's also an option. So things like Alesha and probably Flame Speaker is actually not bad in the main, but we'll just do that. We'll just kind of take out these more aggressive cards just to kind of see where we're at. So it's 10, 13. That'll put us at 21. So we can put in Kiki combo. That's a bit it's a bit heavy on the 5 spot, but we can put in like Destructive Force here, and let's see, we take 10 out, it's 25, and there's 22. So we can kind of just run this Planeswalker build, maybe. We can probably just take out like Archangel of Thune. Let's just take these out for right this minute. Let's see about Kiki Jiki, Solid Scripts, and probably take out the Thundermaw. I don't know. Right now I don't really like in a controlling build. I don't think I really like Thundermaw. It's just a little aggressive. But we can put in this like Prophetic Flame Speaker. There's a little bit of card advantage with it. So we're low on the creatures in the creature department. We're a little bit higher in the plane. We're really high in like the planeswalker. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planeswalkers in here, and you know, I'll probably like to see if I can work this Whip Flare in over I don't know, man. Probably, probably was over. Just run some. We can run something like this, and what that lets us do, like Kiki-Jiki's gonna be pretty good with Blade Splicer, and just alright with some of the things. If we can get like Zealous Conscripts out with Kiki-Jiki, we win. Yeah, and like things like Whip Flare and Arc Trail and a Braid to kind of help us out. And we kind of cut down almost all the white, so I think it's going to be a little easier on our mana base. We just have to remember that if we're going to side any of these things in, we have to change the mana up a little bit. But I think we're just going to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, 27 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see what it suggests with the add basic lands. 1 and 3. Probably do 10 and 4. That sounds about right. And it's more high-end stuff that we might get stuck with. I want to keep up more red, especially for things like Kiki-Jiki and Koth. I think it'll help more. But let's throw this in. Yeah, I kind of like this. You know, we have a lot of aggressive stuff. I think it's just fine to run a more controlling build, and then if we want to side in an aggressive build, we have that ability. I know typically, you know, the red or red-white decks are aggressive, but I think this is a little change of pace a little bit, and the nice thing about it is our opponent might misread this deck as or I should say might read it correctly actually as a more controlling build, and then side in for that, and then we just side in for an aggressive build, and they kind of get stuck with some do nothing stuff. And who knows, if we have to make it to a game 3, then it'd be a little bit more advantageous for us to just kind of decide which part of our deck worked better. So yeah, I'll see you guys in round 1. We're gonna try this out.